the leading digit is the very first number, which is the 4 in this first question. Everything after that needs to round off to zeros. If the next number is an 8, that means I need to round the 4 up 1 to become a 5, and then 3 zeros. Now, if you're going to put an equal to sign in there, remember it needs to be one of the ones that's either squiggly or has the dot on either side to say that it is approximately equal to. So 4,865 is approximately the same or rounded to 5,000. Okay, now the second one, you have to do 2 lines. The first line you should be rounding each number, and in the second line you times them together. So rounding 54, the 5 is the leading digit and a 4 will round down, so that will be 50. Then I want to times that by, the 1 is the leading digit and the 2 will round down, so that would be 100. Okay, again, I would have an approximately equal to sign there. But then for the second line, normal equal to sign, 50 times 100 or 5 times 1 is 5, and there are 1, 2, 3 zeros, which means there will be 3 zeros in my answer, and the answer is 5,000. How did we go? Did we all get that, the people that were here? Wonderful, good. Okay, so that's our quick recap. We'll have those at the beginning of most of the lessons that we do, just a quick little review of what we did the lesson before. Now we are starting our new work, which today we are talking about negative numbers. Yeah. Oh, sorry. All right, negative numbers are numbers that are less than 0. So write in here 0. Integers are, hands up, who could tell me the 2 words that need to go in there? Integers are something, something. Callum. Numbers is the second word, but not positive. No, not negative. What else could it be? Anything? Not positive. Yes? Whole numbers. Because yes, they can be positive numbers, but they can also be negative numbers. As it says here, if you were sneaky, you might have read through. Negative, 0, or positive. So things like 2, 20, 536, they're all positive numbers, but also negative 5 or negative 7, they are all integers as well. And even 0, right in the middle of your positive and negative numbers, that is an integer. Things that are not integers are all your decimals, so anything in between. 3.5, not an integer, okay? All right, the number -4 reads as negative. Now, it actually doesn't really matter if you say -4. It says they're not -4, but you can use either. -4, -4 mean the same thing. Label the number line below. So 0 is always our starting point in the center. As you go to the right on that number line, we are counting up our positive numbers. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And you'll see that there is an arrow on the end, which means that could keep going. I could make this number line as big as I want. As I go to the left, I'm doing the negative numbers. So -1, -2, -3, -4, -5. Yes. Yes, it could. Yes. But I'm wanting to show all my numbers for this one. But yes, I could use a different scale if I wanted to. All numbers have something and something. Want to have a guess, Roman? No. Nice try though. Callum? No. Another try. It's a good go. They're all things that make sense. But we're talking about positive and negative numbers here. So when we are talking about a number like -4, the number has a size and it also has a direction. So the words are direction and size. Because the 4 is the size of the number And if there's a negative inside in front of it, that is giving me the direction, meaning that it's to the left of that 0. Okay, so size and direction, whereas the positive 4 is on the right side of that 0. Each number other than 0 has an... Anyone want to have a guess what that word is? Bella? Roman?
Opposite.
Opposite, perfect. So for example, because it says it down below, is that where you read it? Very good if you did. For example, 3 and minus 3 are opposites. They are equal in size, but are in opposite directions of that number line. So here's my 0, the plus 3 is that side, and the minus 3 is on that side. One's on the left, one's on the right. Opposite directions, but the same space away from that 0. We can use symbols to describe how numbers relate to each other. And these are some symbols that you need to know. This first one, I'll highlight it. Come on, highlighter. Doesn't want my highlighter. Okay, this symbol means a less than. Nope, still can't highlight it. And the other one means a greater than. Okay? All right, into our examples. Write down the opposite of. So if it is a plus 8 or just an 8 sitting there, the opposite is going to be a negative 8. Whereas if I start with a negative 12, the opposite is going to be a positive 12 or just 12. We don't tend to write the plus signs in front of it. That means a positive 12. Question 2. List all the integers from minus 3 to 2. Now, when I say list, I want you to we've got to put commas in between. We're going to start with the smaller number and we're going to count up all the numbers until we get to the end number, which is 2. So we're starting at minus 3. The next integer is minus 2, so comma, minus 2. Then comma, next one is minus 1, comma, 0, comma, 1, comma, 2. So from the minus 3 all the way up to the 2, and I've got all the integers, which means whole numbers that are in between that. Okay, on the next page. Part B says, this is still listing integers that are greater than minus 4 and less than 3. Sometimes in maths you have to be really careful about a way a question is worded. When I say the number has to be greater than minus 4, can it include the minus 4? Is minus 4 greater than minus 4? No. So what is the first number that's greater than minus 4? Minus 3. So I'm starting at minus 3, and I'm going to count all the way up to the number that is less than 3. Will that include the 3? No. So what will my last number be?
2.
The 2. Good. So we're going to minus 3, minus 2, minus 1, 0, 1, and 2. So just take a second to make sure you understand the difference between part A and part B. So part A said from minus 3 to 2, which meant I'm including the minus 3 and the 2. Whereas this one said greater than minus 4, so it didn't include the minus 4, but less than 3. These two questions have the exact same answers, they were just asked in different ways. Yeah? All right, next one, number 3. Max? Arrange the numbers in ascending order. The word ascending means from smallest to largest. And when I think of that, I think about a set of stairs. If I'm going to ascend the stairs, it means I'm going to go up the stairs from smallest to largest. Whereas descending the stairs means I'm going down from largest to smallest. So just words you need to know. So negative numbers are always smaller than positive numbers, okay? So I have 2 negative numbers here. I have 3, sorry. I have a negative 4, a negative 6, and a negative 1. The larger the number in the negative side, the further to the left it is. You can look at this number line up here on the roof up here if you want to. -6 is the smallest because it is the furthest in the negative direction. Okay, so -6. -4 would be the next one, and then -1. So there's all my negative numbers in order. 0 is where I cross over. And now I need all my positive numbers. So sometimes it's helpful to cross off the ones you've used. So I've used the -4, used the -6, used the 0, used the -1. So you can see what is left. I have a 7, a 3, and a 5. So 3 is going to be the smallest out of those. Then the 5, and finally the 7 would be the biggest. Okay, question 4. Insert the symbol to make the statement true. This is the greater than and the less than symbols, the little arrows. Now, there's a few different things that you can use to help you remember this, because some people have trouble with the names. Just wait. Okay. One of the things I think is helpful is that they're like little arrows, these less than and greater than signs. And so if you think of them like that, they will always point to the smaller number. Okay? So out of -3 and 7, the negative number is always going to be smaller than a positive number. So my sign is going to point to that -3. And that reads that -3 is less than 7. Okay? Whereas, next one, let's have a look. -2 and -9. Remember, when it comes to negative numbers, the bigger that number is after that minus sign, the more negative it is. The further down that way we're going. So -9 is smaller. So it's going to point that way. Now that's actually a greater than symbol because -2 is greater than the -9 because the -9 is the smaller one. Okay? All right, so that means your time has come. And today we are doing pages 5 to 8 of your workbook.